Just doing a video on EE savings bonds, specifically the rates. And again, check out my disclaimer below. I'm not a licensed professional financial advisor. I'm just an amateur investor. So take everything, I believe what I'm saying to be true, but take it all with a grain of salt. Um, so here I'm at treasurydirect.gov's page, the press room, and Series EE savings bonds to earn 0.3%. Wow. So yeah, so that's pretty tiny, right? So excuse me. So that's often a con, a negative about savings bonds is that the rates are pretty tiny. There's the I savings bonds, which is an explicit inflation adjustment that updates the rate, which are usually a little higher. So that's one way to get a little higher rates. But okay, so savings bonds these ones pay for 30 years. So they will give you interest every month for 30 years. But they have what am I trying to say? They have something going on for them. So what happens is after 20 years, the bonds will be worth at least 2 times their purchase price. Did you catch that? So if you have the bond for 20 years, it's guaranteed, or as close to guaranteed as you can get, to double in price. So let me show you some math here, because that increases this rate a lot, quite a bit. If, and that's a big if you hold the bond for at least 20 years. Okay, so let me show you some calculations that I did here. So we're looking at the EE savings bond. So what does it mean for something to double over a certain amount of years? It means this equation is true. 1 plus r, where r is some rate, to the x number of years equals 2. This 2 is like, means it doubled. So this yellow is just what I input. I input 20 for 20 years. Now, so 20 goes up here for x. And then you simply solve this equation for r, and that will give you the rate. So to do that, solving for r, if I input 20, r gives me 3.53% just by using this equation. So this again comes from just solving this equation up here. So if you look at if you look at this announcement, 0.3%, that is if you don't hold it for at least 20 years. If you hold it for 20 years or greater, it will double at least, so you'll get at least 3.53%. That's after 20 years. And remember, these have a 30-year life. These bonds, they give you interest for 30 years. So after 20 years, it's essentially guaranteed to double, and then it will still gain interest 10 years after that. Okay, so I just wanted to let people be aware of that when you look at these things, and you see these super tiny rates, and then you hear people say that the rates are nothing. Look at these rates. Yeah, but these are savings bonds. The word savings kind of implies long term, and the word bond definitely implies long term. So I wouldn't even buy these unless you plan to hold them for the long term. 20 years plus. Okay? So I hope that helped out. I hope explained the EE savings bonds to you a little bit. And just remember that currently, if you buy one, 20 years, it's essentially guaranteed to double. It gives you a rate of 3.53%. which is not bad at all. All right, so that's all I got. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you next video. Bye-bye.